If we got it this time. Hey, we did it this time. All right, excellent. So, hello and welcome. This is the Empath Astro-Weather for the week of January 25th through September, sorry, the 26th. I'm so bad with dates and time. Oh my goodness. Try again, Rhonda. Okay. Astro weather for the week of January 26th through February 1st, 2026. Got the dates out this time. Yay me. Time isn't even a magazine for me. I don't know. I'm bad. Anyway, I am thrilled to be here for you this week. And what I'm showing you this time is what we can expect in the astrology and the cosmos specifically for those of us who are empaths, psychics, highly sensitive, neurodiverse. We have the nervous system that works a little bit differently from what those other people consider to be normal, which like normal is only a setting on the dryer, but hey. And so that's what we're doing here. So what I'm showing you is you're having a forecast each week that will tell you about what to expect. And I'm opening a little box of planets here because we're going to talk about one of those planets in particular this week. Okay, so as we're starting off, the energy of the week is going to be like, how much is it going to take in our capacity for us to cope with this week? Man, we are lucky because last week was a pretty low to moderate week. This week is also a low to moderate week. There's not a whole lot of cosmic to deal with. Now, there might be some with the sun pitching fits and throwing solar flares and cosmic storms and stuff like that, but I can't predict that a week in advance. And it'll happen. And, I might be able to give you a couple days warning, but where I do that specifically and exclusively as part of the many things that we do inside of the Resonance Haven community on School. And I would love to invite you to join, and that will be down below in the description. Okay, so I'll tell you about those things if you're part of School. I do a post each week, which is the Empath Astro-Weather report. And then as updates come through the week, oh, here's a solar storm, the Schumann is running high, whatever it is, I add them all to that so that everything for the week is all in one post and in one place and super easy to follow. Okay, well, let's get on to my little friend Neptune here. Coming at you, 3D. So with Neptune is known for being very dreamy and deals a lot with dreams and illusions and that sort of thing. And he's been hanging out in Pisces. So they've been like the best of buds. That's where he's really in his power, in his element, is in Pisces. But guess what? Tuesday, he's like, but no, I'm actually moving into Aries. And so I'm going to have a little more energy and a little more oomph and a little more motivation. And so what you'll find as someone who is an empath, a highly sensitive person, psychic, intuitive, whatever, super sensitive, however you want to call yourself, what you're going to find is that the things that you might have been feeling, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to decide, I'm a little foggy, I'm a little unclear. Now he moves into Aries. And then it's like, oh, the fog is lifted, and now I have a much better sense of what to do. So that's going to be pretty exciting. That will be very, very helpful. So I'm going to put little Neptune back in the box of planets because we're done talking about him. That's the big mover for this coming week. All right, now, Thursday, we have a beautiful aspect. Remember, I said this was low to moderate, so we don't have a lot of cosmic jangle to worry about. It's kind of what I call it, cosmic jangle, and the planets are just acting up in ways that make it harder for us. So this will be really nice. On Thursday, we have the sun trine the moon. The trine is a triangle. And what that means in astrological terms is it's about the way it's set up on the astrology circle, the chart. And it forms that triangle, and it's going to make things really easier and pleasant. So for those of us with the sensitive nervous system, the sun, of course, the sun is like shine bright and it's all out there because that's what the sun does. And the moon is like all, oh yeah, well, I got the night covered and, we'll be all like introverted and cozy. And so you have that outgoing and that cozy and more introverted emotional energy in a nice playful balance. So that's going to feel really good to those of us who are empaths and highly sensitive. And then Sunday, February 1st, we have the full moon. The full moon, where it's the brightest and the shiniest, and sending all of that light to us on Earth because it's not blocked by the sun blocking any of it. So it's why we call it the full moon. Okay, so in the full moon, it's going to be in the sign of Leo, meaning that's where it will show up on the cosmic chart. So with a full moon, in Leo, you have that spotlight that's shining on Leo, and Leo is all about being on stage, performing, being out there, letting your light shine, and doing it with heart. So I call Leo action with heart because that's kind of what it's all about. Leo in its best aspect is going to be like that. It's not in its best aspect. Leo is not all about ego and my way or the highway or whatever. It's all about letting your light shine and doing everything that means something to your heart. So that's going to be a great time for you to make moon water. You're not sure how? Well, check out below. That's one of the gifts that I give inside of Resonance Haven for people is I show you how to do it, but it's basically the idea is you take a jar or bottle that's covered because it's going to sit outside. You put it and marinate it in moonlight all night on the night of the full moon or the new moon, whatever. In this case, the full moon. Then you take it back up in the morning. And that moon water has been charged with the full moon in Leo energy. And it should feel really clean and nice. And you'll be able to use that for a little bit for you and your animals to drink, spray your plants. There's all kinds of fun uses. And we'll talk about that more in Resonance Haven community. Okay, so that is the astro weather forecast for the week. In Resonance Haven, I go through this in a little bit more depth and a lot more depth actually. And then also, I'm following the solar weather, the Schumann resonance, other types of things, because here's the truth. As someone who's an empath, as someone who is a highly sensitive person, maybe the general population doesn't feel when, Neptune and Jupiter and the other planets are playing and doing stuff, but we definitely do. And so what I'm doing is I'm here being the cosmic language interpreter for sensitive people so that you can understand why am I feeling what I'm feeling? Okay. So, and you will feel things from the planet's movements, but you may not know why. The outer planets are tending to be more about the bigger global and national and larger aspects, but they still will hit us in the feels as sensitive people. The inner planets are more called the personal planets, and they're more about what happens in our daily because Mercury and Venus and Mars move a lot more quickly. So anyhow, that's going to help you a lot. Oh, the one thing I almost forgot. Sorry. Okay, so the one thing I almost forgot, we're going to have 3 different times during the week when the moon is what's called void of course. And it's not like it's void, of course it is. It's always no. Void of course meaning it's between signs. It's like the moon is in airplane mode, it's offline. We just had a big one that lasted through more than half of Saturday and a lot of Sunday. Interestingly enough, a US time, that's how it worked. So, interestingly enough, I was in a 24-hour short story contest and we got our clue just before the moon went void. And I wasn't actually thinking of it. I had not looked up the aspects because we had like a snow day and I was just kind of diddling around, having fun, watching movies, playing with the animals, whatever, having a snow day. But I was like, ugh, I read the clue that we had to follow a prompt and at least touch on it. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. This is trite and stupid, and I don't like the prompt. And I have no creativity. Was like offline, no signal, no creativity. So, and I had to have a story within 24 hours or just have paid the money and not do it, which if I paid my money, I'm going to do it. I may not, I'll do it as best as I can. Well, and I was like, okay, so what do you do when you don't know if your intuition feels kind of offline and your creativity is offline? I go, I trust myself. I trust myself. I know I'll come up with something. So I says, okay, well, hmm, maybe I'll play it this way and whatever. And I wasn't sure. And I was like, okay, so I went through the entire day and visited with my friend and watched shows and read book and all of that. And I all of a sudden before bed, I'm like, oh, you know what? I think I might do that. And noodled around with the idea, says, oh, I'll get up and write it in the morning. Sat down, wrote the story within 3 hours during a moon void, of course. So when I realized later, I went, oh, no wonder I was so like creativity not file not found 404 error. No, nothing. I was like, well, duh, if I had actually thought to look in my planner where I have it marked, or even looked at my notes from my post about last week, which I mentioned it. It's like, oh, yes, if I had actually looked, I would re have realized why I was feeling that way. So, you can work through it, but it's good to know. So we do have 3 periods this week, and they're going to be roughly 3 hours long. In US terms, it'll hit more in the late afternoon into evening times. And so they will affect you a little bit, but not as bad as that one that lasted basically an entire day. So you might find a period where you're like cranking along and you're like, oh, do, I'm doing my work, I'm doing my thing. And then you sort of go, the brakes have gone on. And you're like, what happened? I don't know. What am I doing? I'm not sure. And that's when, maybe later you look and go, oh, the moon void. Yeah, okay. That's why I like just suddenly went, psh, found not found. So I hope that's helpful to you. Come back next Sunday and you will see the next astro weather forecast and we'll get you ready. And just as the preview of things to come in February, we're coming up on Mercury retrograde and the beginning of eclipse season number 1 of 2026. Booyah. Yeah. Okay. So we'll talk to you all soon. I love you. I see you. I believe in you. Namaste, loves.